Welcome back to another video. I'm Denise Dominguez, and I help women coming out of toxic relationships heal from that experience and create new and healthy relationships. And in this video, I am got a request to talk about the narcissistic in-laws. Boy, do I have a story about that. So I want to give you some tips and tools on how to deal with the narcissistic in-laws. So in my book, Empower the Woman Within, that I launched in June of 2018, I talk about my toxic in-laws, my narcissistic in-laws. So for the request person and the question, I totally get it. I can see how frustrating and the word debilitating is coming up for me. So let me first read you the request so you get a glimpse of what this person is asking. So she says, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on narcissistic ex-in-laws that you're forced to continue to deal with, who barely know your child, but petitioned the court for visitation with no reason, but they are entitled to it. Thank you so much for this question, for this topic. I would love to dive into this and give you some insight and some clarity around why this is happening, because remember, everything in your outside world is a direct reflection of what's going on in your inside world. Hopefully you were able to receive that. If you follow me, then you know that I was in a toxic relationship for over 20 years. And in 2011, I finally had the courage to leave that relationship and move 3 states away with nothing but a futon couch and an air mattress, and create a new and amazing life for myself. So currently, I'm engaged to be married to the man of my dreams next year, 2020, on the North Carolina gorgeous beach. And I've done that. I've been able to rebuild myself back up, heal from all of the traumas and the dramas that I've been through. I've been able to recreate myself and now only surround myself with healthy relationships, whereas before it was the exact opposite. So I was depressed, I had anxiety, I had chronic headaches, I had stomach issues, I was surrounded by only toxic people, narcissistic people. I was controlled by their thoughts and actions. I was married to one, which puts a whole new spin on life, right? And I was very controlled and manipulated through all of this, right? Because when you're married to somebody, you do marry their family. There is a part of you that has to do things or say things or not do things or not say things in the family, within the family. And what perfect timing, it's holiday time. So I want to read you a little part of my book, Empower the Woman Within, because I do talk about my toxic in-laws. And I want to share with you also the behind the scenes of the request, and also give you some tips and insight for that. Okay, so I was dealing with, I want to really want you to grasp, this is what the book says, I really want you to grasp who I was dealing with when it came to my then husband's family. They didn't like me from day one. Why? Because I was Caucasian and not Hispanic. So straight out of the door, there was tension. And of course, the fact that these people are toxic, I was always trying to people please and get them to like me. Remember, I was 19 years old back then. They were a handful, if that. that of moments in our time together that they expressed a liking for me. But overall, I was constantly battling my place as his wife and my children's mother. I wasn't going to let his mom, who has done this before with other grandkids, take over my baby and think that she can mother my baby. She is overbearing and controlling, to say the least. She will manipulate you into thinking, oh yes, go shopping or do whatever you need to do, and I'll take care of the baby. Before you know it, you're losing control of being a new mom, and she is completely taking over. I've seen it done firsthand. So when I was even pregnant with my first child, our daughter, I made it abundantly clear that I am her mom and I was going to take care of my child. When it came to them meeting me at the hospital, they wouldn't even look at me. And then calling me a gold digger, this didn't surprise me at all. I had always felt like an outsider with them. And when my husband decided that they were too toxic for him and said we would no longer associate with them, even for the holidays, I had no problem respecting his wish because I didn't even like them either. And the more my kids were not associated with them, the better. Can someone say total dysfunction? Okay, so this goes on to talk about the story of when my then husband was in the hospital. I don't want to dive too deep into this because that's not what the request was, but just to get a glimpse of, I, for 22 years, unfortunately, had to deal with toxic in-laws. And when it came to my kids, I was very protective and very cognitive of who they were around. And sometimes it was out of my control, but I was young and I didn't know what I know now. So how do you deal with these toxic ex-in-laws? Remember, everything is energy. Everything is energy. Your energy, your thoughts are energy, your words are energy. Everything is energy. So when you put so much energy into, because you don't want your children to be with the in-laws because you know they're toxic, and you know this could go for the ex-husband too. The bottom line is the more you focus on something, the more energy you give to it. So I call it feeding the monster. And what that means is when you're so adamant, there's an energy behind that feeling, right? When you're so adamant that I don't want my kids to be with so-and-so, or I really hate it, it's coming up time for the weekend visit, or they're going to take him to Disney, and I just, really irks the shit out of me. This is an energy that you have that you are putting out into the universe. And here's how this works. What you put out comes back to you tenfold. So think of your thoughts and your energy like a boomerang. Whatever you put out comes back to you. So if you put out this energy of like, I really hate it that my son or my daughter spends time with my ex-in-laws because they're so X, Y, and Z, then the more you're putting that out there, you're feeding the monster, meaning the narcissistic person, the toxic person. You're literally going, here you go, honey. Here's some more applesauce for you. I'm feeding you, which fills your belly and makes you feel really good because your energy is going to them and the situation. So when you can let go of the control that you are holding on inside of you, okay? Let go of the constricting, tense, everlasting, then you will see this disappear. You will see that these people, the visitors, less and less. They don't feel the need, because they feel this energy too. They don't feel the need to come and pick up the kid, because narcissistic people don't love. They're not trying to be with your kids because they love them. No, they're incapable of love. They're doing it to piss you off. They're doing it because you hate it. So what you have to do is let go of the control and let go of this energy that you're holding so tightly onto so that you can get the results that you're seeking. Okay? And this goes across the board. Like I said, if you're dealing with the ex and you really, I had a client who was going through the divorce and they were cleaning out the house and there was these paintings. I don't remember if they were portrait paintings or maybe paintings of family or whatever it was. And because she's a nice person, she was asking her soon-to-be ex-husband, do you want these paintings? And he said, do you want them? This is where the manipulation is so subtle, comes in. And she was like, yeah, I really want them. Or he already knew that these paintings meant a lot to her. And so what does he do? Oh, I'll take them. They're mine. I'll take them. Guess where the paintings ended up? In the garage, never even unpacked. I'm not trying to compare your children to paintings. What I'm saying is that these people don't care. They don't care about the paintings. They don't care about wanting to be with your children. All they care about is it irks you. They want what you want because you want it. It fills them up with, happiness. It fills them up with joy. It fills them up with greed. It fills them up with, I get to get you back when I get the paintings or the kids on visitations or whatever, the dog. I've heard a lot of stories about animals. A lot of women stay in abusive relationships because of the dogs, the animals. When you release the control, they no longer want that. But when they know you're holding so tightly onto this, they only want it because you want it. And they want to fuck you. They want to see you miserable. If they know it's pissing you off or hurting you, they're going to keep on with that. So the key to all of this is to let it go. Let go of the control. Let go of the tension that you have inside of your body leading up. Wow, I can't even imagine. Maybe it's weeks leading up to the visitations or months, or maybe you never let it go. Maybe it's a constant tension that you have. Let go of that, because this is going to continue. And I suspect that this has already been going on for a long time. If this is your ex-in-laws, I suspect that this is going on for a long time. And when it comes to these toxic people, until and unless you know how to get a hold of these things, this can go on forever. 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever years, until your kid is 18. And then, and then I even hear people that when their kids are older, because there was no healing or working on getting a hold of all of this energy, that the children tend to, they've been brainwashed all of these years, and they tend to go or end up like the toxic person. And you ultimately lose 100% control. You lose 100% of the relationship with your child, because for so many years, when they were young and impressionable, they had this as a role model. They had this person as a role model. So what I'm saying here is for you to release, let go of the control, and continue to work on yourself so that you can be masterful at also manipulation of the energy. You have to learn how to manipulate the energy. And this is how you do it. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you. And what I suggest is for you to, meditation is a great tool for you to use. Meditation on letting go. I have one. I'll put it in the description box for you. It's a 12-minute letting go meditation where I share with you a tip and a tool in the meditation of how to let go. All of this is about letting go. When I left Florida, my son was 17 years old, and of course I wanted both of my children with me, but I had to let go of that dream because he was old enough to make his own decisions to be with his dad. No, I didn't like it. Yes, he is a carbon copy of his dad now, because I didn't know any of this when my kids were younger. And yes, I didn't want it to be that way, but I now have to let go of the control of that my ex continuously manipulates our son. I have to let go of when I left Florida, the story was that he said to my son, "Oh, I'll buy you a new truck if you stay," because my son was considering going with us, coming up here to North Carolina. And because of that one statement, because his dad was able to buy things, I left with nothing. I left with nothing but a futon couch and air mattress. So I wasn't in a state where I could say, "I'll buy you this," or "I'll buy you that," nor would I even think of that. But this is what happened. And I had to let go of that control of like, "No, I want my son with me. He's my son. It was always us three because you were always on drugs and you were always high and you were always with other women and you were always doing this. And why should you have him? It's my kid. You weren't even there when he was born because you were downstairs smoking a joint." True story. "Why should you have him? It's my son. It's my son." I had to let go of that. I had to let go and say, you know what? If this is what he chooses, it's his journey. And I have to let go of that. And whatever happens, happens. I can't hold on so tightly because I have my life to live. And I have to figure out what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. So I'll put the meditation in the description below. I'll also put the link to my book. It's on Amazon if you'd like to take a look at it. And also, always, you can get in touch with me. There's always social media and things like that. And if you like this video, please smash the like button. I highly, highly appreciate it. And also, if you'd like more of these topics, more of these videos, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want the notifications, you simply just hit the little bell icon and that will give you notifications. If you don't, just hit subscribe, and that way you can always go back to the channel and get what you want. This is, like I said, this is something that I applied to my life, and it changed my life because when I let go of the control, it freed me up. It freed up my energy. It freed up my body. It freed up my life that I didn't focus on it so much. And I've learned to do that in other areas of my life. Obviously, once you learn a tool for one aspect of your life, you can use it again and again and again. And if you have any other topics that you would like me to talk about, please comment in the comments below and let me know what it is that you would like to hear more about. Okay? I love you so much, and I will see you on the next video.